What do you and Toback have in common?
Well, we have a few things in common. Toback, deviancy. Toback, deviancy.
Okay, today we're going to talk about The Outsider, a film about James Toback. The 2005 documentary. The Outsider falls around cult New York independent filmmaker James Toback as he shoots a little $2 million independent film on the streets of New York, starring Neve Campbell, When Will I Be Loved? The documentary follows Toback through the shooting, the main production of the film, and the post-production in the film. And throughout the film, we get information about who is James Toback, his background in academics, his beginning to become a screenwriter. He wrote the screenplay for the James Caan film The Gambler. He made the cult Harvey Keitel film Fingers. Wrote and directed The Pickup Artist with Robert Downey Jr. in the late 80s, and he got a little bit famous from that. And then in the late 90s and early 2000s, his career kind of heated up again with Two Girls and a Guy and Black and White, and now it's really heated up. Well, I don't know, you know, I mean, the first thing when all these allegations came out about James Toback was, who is James Toback? You know, that's the question that everybody has. And this documentary, it really answers that question, but actually like most of James Toback's films, this documentary is very obscure. The US DVD anyway is out of print, and it took me a long time to find it. I saw it years ago on like Showtime or some cable network. And the DVD is pretty good. It has a lot of extras. It has 2 commentary tracks, one by the director, one by actually James Toback himself, and lots of deleted scenes, tons of deleted scenes. It's a good DVD in and of itself. It's really, if you're interested in documentary films about filmmakers, it's a really good movie. And you really get an idea of who James Toback is, which is this guy who is this kind of like, he tries so hard to give this perception of being popular, of having famous friends, and this documentary, there is this element of this documentary that is just full of self-aggrandizement. Like, a lot of this documentary is just him like hanging out on the streets of New York, just trying to get noticed. And it becomes a lot creepier when you realize what he was accused of, the sexual harassment, the going up to people and saying, hey, I'm James Toback, you know, I'm a famous director, and why don't you come to the hotel room so I can audition you? You know, he did that apparently, he just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times he would just do that in the streets. Julianne Moore, she came out with something that he would just, he did it to her one night, and then he did it to her the next night, and she's like, you don't remember who I am? You already approached me. You know, it became, you know, ridiculous. If the allegations, you know, weren't so serious, it would be just a joke. But I mean, this film is a lot cringier and a lot creepier when you see it. You see him do it, you know. There's a scene in the film where he just goes up to somebody and is like, hey, have you seen my movie?
Did you see Black and White with Mike and Robert Downey and Brooke Shields, Wu-Tang Clan, Claudia Schiffer, Ben Stiller? You never saw that movie? Get it tonight. Okay. Black and White on DVD. And
there's all of these kind of allusions in the film that people talk about. Oh, James Toback is this tortured artist with all of these demons, and the monkey in his back of gambling and all of this stuff. And he just tries to come off so hard as this kind of profound, poetic, famous guy. There's all of these scenes of him walking around with a cell phone, telling people, "Oh, we're gonna give a bad fucking deal. We're fucking," you know. And it's just even the documentary. It's like you realize, who the fuck would even fall for this, you know? You know, it's like, who would even fall for it? I mean, because it looks ridiculous in the documentary. I mean, I bet you that one scene when he's on the phone in the car in the taxi or whatever. I bet there's not even anybody on the phone. He's just yelling to an empty phone. He's trying to play for the documentary. There are lots of parts of this documentary which feel as real as like a reality TV show. Like the Kardashians, like, oh yeah, let's go to this restaurant that we totally did not plan on going, and that all the lighting and the camera are all set up at. Oh yeah, let's just do a spur of the moment thing. He does this, and the people that he calls in favors. He has this, apparently this screening of a rough cut of When Will I Be Loved in the editing room, and they bring down Robert Towne, the screenwriter, the famous screenwriter of Chinatown, and it's just so pathetic that he's just like, oh, look at my buddy, Robert Towne. I knew him. Come on. Well, you got to bring him into the movie. Woody Allen is interviewed on the streets, and Woody Allen just looks pathetic. He looks like this poor guy. They just dragged him down, like the pathetic groveling call that James Toback must have made to Woody Allen to get him down there. Oh my God, please, you're my buddy. Come be in my. They're making a movie about me. You got to be in it. And he just looks so sad and just like he doesn't want to be there. Brooke Shields looks so sad and just like disturbed. She just looks like disturbed, and because he dragged her into this self-aggrandizing documentary about himself. It's just so. So transparently promotional that it just becomes ridiculous after a while, And then, he's not even hiding. He's not hiding the ego. He's not hiding the harassment, and he almost makes a joke out of it. There's a character in When Will I Be Loved, the Neve Campbell movie that he's shooting, where he acts in the movie, and he plays this character, this guy who's trying to be this like liberated academic who just tries to pick up Neve Campbell.
It's this extremely wonderful sales pitch that you're giving to me about how you might be able to help my life or help me discover myself. Might possibly, I don't want to offend you, but might possibly be an intelligent ruse to see whether I'll fuck you.
There are so many cringeworthy moments in this documentary. I think the most cringeworthy is the Toback, deviancy, Mike Tyson. Hanging out with Mike Tyson. Toback eventually made a documentary about Mike Tyson, pretty well regarded documentary a few years ago. And but most of the film is just him with Mike Tyson, hanging out with Mike Tyson on the street, just trying to be recognized. It's just such a transparent, like, pathetic thing, really, that would be funny if it wasn't, as I said, all of these serious allegations have not come out. So if you can watch it, if you can find it somewhere, The Outsider is a really interesting look into the life and the work and the crimes of James Toback, an outlaw filmmaker with some famous friends. I think the cringiest part of the documentary is Brett Ratner. And again, like Brett Ratner, it's obvious Brett Ratner is like on the set of this movie, and like James Toback is like right behind the cameraman. And it's like, because there's a moment where Brett Ratner looks over and, can I tell that story? It's very obvious to me that James Toback, like Brett Ratner, James Toback probably was like calling this guy. He's like, "Hey, we're shooting a movie. We're shooting a documentary. Well, I'm shooting a movie down on like Fifth Street." And like he tells Jarecki, James Toback, "Come on, let's go." And they just bring him down to the set, and he's just like, put him in camera. He's famous. Put him on camera. There are all these moments like this, but the cringeworthy moment with Ratner is it takes on a different resonance after we know what's after the accusations.
What do you and Toback have in common?
Well, we have a few things in common: food, gambling.
Yeah, I'm thinking Brett Ratner would regret that interview today. Well, nobody's going to know about this documentary, though, so it doesn't matter. I mean, the thing is, it's as obscure as any of James Toback's films are, really. I mean, if you're a fan of documentaries, it's a really good. It takes you through the production of this movie, and you know, this movie was only like shot in like 12 or 14 days, so they've got to hustle. I mean, James Toback never really hustles. He just kind of stands around. You know, he looks like this very debauched. He looks deviant. He looks like one of those guys, like those grindhouse 70s, 42nd Street type of guys who wear like raincoats and they're naked underneath and they expose themselves to old ladies. Peep show. Just like a real sick, he's got a sicko, creepo, deviant look on his face, and the sicko, creepo, deviant hat, and you know, and then you read some of the accounts of this stuff that he was doing, like, you know, masturbating in front of women in Central Park. I mean, he's really a deviant sicko, and he looks like a deviant sicko in the documentary. He looks totally, he's got this total debauched, like Harvey Weinstein, like Baron Harkonnen, like rah, rah, he's this whole sicko look.
How did you guys meet originally?
We met on the set of The Pickup Artist. Brian,
I came with
Anthony
him and
Michael
Michael
Hall,
Hall,
Gary Hart, Warren Beatty, David McLeod, Molly Ringwald, Robert Downey. We're all
we all
together.
came to see Robert Downey.
That's right. And we were talking about Jim Brown and LSD and madness and orgies.
Toback, deviancy. Toback, deviancy.